watching, going over the trade review for Tuesday, the 20th of May. It was a really good day. We were 3 for 3 today. And so let's go over some of the fundamentals and some of the things I covered in pre-market. For those of you who aren't members of the market preview, you'll see the video of it in the space right below this video. So to begin with, right, we opened and we had a gap. The first thing we always want to look for on any gap, right, ability to fill, gap fill, sign of weakness. We were unable to do that, right? And this really kind of pretended to a open drive lower. The only reason I wasn't concerned about taking a counter drive, a counter trade in what would appear to be a potential open drive lower was because we were not gapping out of range. Okay, we're just been stuck in this muck at 1878. I pointed out in the volume profile, and I'll point it out again. Let's see if I can get over to it, and if I don't have it all marked up. And here we go. And at any rate, I was doing a bit of work to set this up. If we remove this really quickly, okay, see how all these closes over here, everything is underneath this 1878.80, right? It is up to the bulls, if they want to push us higher, to get us above this location, okay? And they have failed repeatedly, okay? So once we were underneath this 1878.50, right? So now flip back to the chart here real quick, the other way, and you can see how that translated, right? First we broke down out of that location. This is a pretty standard backside test of a breakdown. Again, we're unable on the second attempt to get up to gap fill, okay? And then right here, just prior to, we had one of the Federal Reserve Board members making a speech right here in this little window, okay? So essentially what you got is an open drive lower. People were anticipating the move lower. For better or for worse, right? We ended up getting responsive buyers in the white zone, which is what I expect. First time into the white zone, I expect responsive buyers. I had put a couple caveats in the morning in terms of things that I was concerned about. One of the things I was concerned about is the amount of time we spent in these zones. Why? Because a great deal of this was poorly auctioned, and the other issue has been in response to the changing patterns of both rotation size and also the general speed of the market. One of the things I need for my edge to be truly effective forgive me, I apologize. I'm going to pause this for just a second. Really sorry about that, guys. One of the things the market will do to throw your balance off is they'll change the pace at which the market moves and the rotation sizes, right? And the overall day ranges. Why? Because if you look at the underlying mechanics that drive the market, you can't really change those. But what you can change is the pace and the rhythm at which the market operates, right? And that's enough to throw off most traders and cause them to lose money. It's like being in a prize fight is the best way I know how to compare it. And it will generally cause others to lose money. Really sucks. That's how it is. You have to learn to adapt to that. Over the last couple of weeks, we've seen a compression of the range. ES was trading in a 15 to 25 point range. We've compressed down to really a 10 to 16 point range over the last couple of weeks. That's a change. The pace at which it's moved. And then the last piece is with my own trading, right? I do more poorly in a slow trading environment because I can't get trade dislocation. And what that means is when the market moves faster, it's easier to panic people. I can usually see the panic in the manner by which the market is trading. And because of that, it makes it very easy for me to go in and take advantage. So the first time in here, I said this morning, I really needed, if we were going to be trading slowly, I needed the market to get in and out of here within 15 minutes, okay? So if you will, that's not helpful. If you look at this, right, here's 5, 10, 15 minutes complete. What did I do at this point? I wanted to bring my stop up just below here to the swing low, right, and give my trade an opportunity to move to the upside. Okay, very, very important that you move your stop up. Now, once we got up here, I couldn't quite get, I think I entered at 1875.25. I wasn't quite, the first few times in here, was not able to get the 1877.25. I believe I took that out for 7 ticks. And I also compromised at the end of that 15 minutes because I wasn't able to get that lift, right, that I took 1 point out and moved my stop back to break even. That was just the way I compensate because I am uncomfortable in a slow market, and I want to make sure that I book profits and get risk off the table. I had full-size positions there, right? And so normally I know that I can get my scale quicker than what the time frame was being presented, and I didn't have the velocity in the market to get any trade locations, so my confidence was a little bit lower. And so that's how I audibled. I gave it time to hit my 2 points. It didn't get it. I took my 1 point. Obviously, if I'd been patient, eventually out of this zone with the stop just below swing low here, right? Eventually, it had the potential of getting 1880 from 1875.25 from where I entered. That was a 5-point potential trade, right? The next thing was the reversal hour normally comes, as I say every single morning, 9:30 to 11:30. And if you look right on cue at 9:30 a.m., we come for a backside test, and again, we move back up, okay? So I don't try to capture every trade that's out there. I'm just trying to get all I can control is where I enter a trade. I have no control after I enter the trade other than what type that we could go either here or there in terms of the eventualities of where we might land up, but I have no idea what path we're going to take to get there, right? Therefore, all I can control is my stop loss. This is a perfect example. When we were sitting here, right, we'd already come into this zone. This is, again, I want to try to make this brief, I guess. This is first time into the zone, right? We never exited. This is second time into the zone right here, okay? Now, once we were up here, I thought my next best location was going to be, and I put it out on the Twitter stream. You can see it on StockTwits publicly. I said the 1871 area is where I am looking to get long next. That's when we're trading up here, right? Now, you'll notice the time between this point and this point, what was this? This is almost an hour and a half before I can get a fill. And secondly, we took a huge divergence to the upside. This is a perfect example of where if you can't be patient and wait for your trade location, someone could enter the trade short here, chasing down instead of waiting for a good trade location up, have a concept that we're going to move lower on the day all the way down, right? But most retail traders, what do they trade with? 1.5 points, 2 points. Sometimes people balk when I tell them there's a 4-point stop. You know, I've had people actually just go into conniptions, not being able to handle the fact that we would be dealing with a 4-point stop. So the reality is anyone who read, oh, lower here, I'm going to short here, almost certainly did not survive this stop out process, right? Only to watch in at least mental agony as this thing tanked straight down from, even if you took it here, 1876 to 1866, 10-point move lower. And you hear this all the time. Dude, I had the trade called right, and I just got stopped out. I couldn't get position. Well, the reason why you couldn't get position is you're all obsessed about where you think you know where the market's going to go instead of being all obsessed about your risk control and where it is that you can pick off traders making trading errors, okay? And I didn't call the short to the downside, right? I really thought at this point we're coming into New York lunch, and I was like, well, I guess I'm wrong about the downside call. We're going to go into balance. And I kind of surrendered at that point. This is third move into the zone right here, okay? When you look at this, I just have no other way of describing this as 1, 2, 3 This is an attempt at a trap right here at the first hour low. Obviously it didn't actually trap, and then we failed. Look at the zone below. First move in gave you that rotation up for 2 points worth of trade. First move in, second move in, third move failed. Okay, now this 1869 in a quarter was the low from Monday, and they did attempt to trap here. This trap actually failed right here, but you got to put that into some kind of balance, right? 1, 2, 3. 3 strikes you're out as far as I'm concerned with the zones, and I'm not interested in doing business down here. And then I called this trade location down right here at 18. I want to call it at 1865. I don't remember exactly. It's on StockTwits and on my Twitter feed. You can see where I posted it. And very simply, once again, I ran into an issue. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes. And I had my stop 2 points behind the zone, and I was actually starting to get concerned I was going to get stopped. I had no way of knowing that the market was going to reverse there other than I had a good stretch and good trade location. But if you look at what I tweeted out in the market, I said to myself, out loud, I say this to myself, I go, I tend to caution myself, right? And I just remind myself, most markets don't close on the low of the day. That's all you had to say to yourself down here, right? Even if you didn't think you were going back up, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We've got a huge stretch down here, right? And I just simply said, hey, look, we don't close on the low of the day most days. I can afford to miss this trade, right? Or even better, I was long. Now, in my particular case, once again, I was dealing with a slow market where I couldn't get a snap out. I took 1 point and 2 points on this trade. Everyone was able to acquire 2 points. I had one coaching client that actually did quite well out of this zone. Also keep in mind, my majority of the places where I make most of my money occur in this period of time every single day. Okay, so if I'm trading over here and this stuff, I already know this is my B grade stuff anyways. I'm not going to press as hard in these areas. I just don't care. And the reason why I don't care is twofold. First of all, I'm consistently increasing my trade size, right? I have an extremely high win rate. I've been averaging around 70% plus for a long time now, okay? Why is my win rate so high? Because I have great trade location on my entries, and my targets to the upside in terms of where I'm starting to scale and bring up risk, okay, are highly achievable, highly high odds, what do I say? High odds targets. I'm almost certain to get that rotation there. It's not 100%, nothing certain in the market, but my targets are a very small fraction of what the average rotation is in ES. And then the last piece is I don't care. I do not care what the market does after I'm in my trade as long as I can control my risk. If it wants to pay me huge and I get the timing right and I get the pieces correct, that's great. If I don't get the pieces correct and I only get 2 points out of a trade, or even less, right? If I get into a trade location, it sits there for 25 minutes and I get out break even, I'm grateful for that. I actually say, thank you. I'm grateful you let me out of this trade break even. You want to know why? Because my alternative is, because the truth of the matter is I have very little power over this market. Actually, scratch that. I have none. I have no influence over this market. Okay? I do not understand what everyone else is trying to do or say, nor do I have the resources to compete against the Goldman Sachs and the JP Morgans of the world. They have more intelligence. They have better software. They have better computers. They have better internet connections. They have better everything. Okay? So when I take a risk and I risk my capital, and believe me, I'm not in this to make a 10% annualized return. Okay? I want to get that risk off as quickly as possible. I want a very high success rate so I can keep myself psychologically and emotionally positive and rejuvenated every day so I can come back and do the same thing over and over again. And I don't want to be in a constant battle to figure out where the next 10 points come from. I guess I could do it if I tried. Occasionally I get it right? But I look at it on those occasions when I get 10-point trades as a gift. I recognize it when it comes and I say, hey, I can have a big trade out of here and I'll take it. But the reason I'm able to do that is because day in, day out, my bread and butter is paid for by my 2-point targets, bringing my stops up to break even, and enjoying the benefits of making a lot of money. So anyways, my name is Simon. I'm with Trade and Perform Coaching. I hope this helped. I'm tired. Just got back from a long run. I'm going to shut it down now, post this up on the website. If anyone has any questions about joining the live market preview, all the feedback has been fantastic. I'm going to start posting a spreadsheet. Hopefully I'll get that done tonight and post a spreadsheet tonight so you can see what the results look like just on the zones. And I have about 4 or 5 trades in my bag of tricks that all offer high odds trading opportunities. My goal in doing this is to move traders from being break-even or losing traders, okay, to being consistently profitable traders. I've been very successful in helping traders move in that direction, okay? It's not an easy, there's no magic, there's no one thing I can hand you overnight and make you a profitable trader. But if I can identify where you're trading poorly, right? Most of the time, if we can just eliminate the bottom half to third of your worst trades and your worst trading habits, we can at least get you to break even pretty quickly, right? And from there, we start rising that trajectory so that you are targeting higher profit points and making money on a consistent basis. Anyways, I hope that helped everyone. Y'all have a great night. I'll see y'all in the morning. I'm going to go get some shut-eye. We will talk to y'all later. Bye.